That's my news reporter voice. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
My voice just went. That was it. It's over. The whole weekend. Oh my gosh. Listen, go-karts were crazy. We won't talk about your times on the track because your times on the go-kart track were abysmal, but your times on the drag strip track, way better.
I go really fast in a straight line.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah.
The only turning you want to do is at the end of a long straightaway that's at least 1,320 feet.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that. Tell who you are. Obviously you are social media queen. You do a lot of stuff there, tons of posts. It's always fun to watch your stuff. And, obviously the buildup of the car is cool. You put an LT in a 4th gen, which I don't think has happened very much.
No.
So tell everybody who you are, where they can find you, and then let's get into drag race stuff.
All right. Well, I'm Britney Friesen. I run all of the Britney Automotive social medias. I started out building my 4th gen Camaro. All I really did was rebuild the Gen 2 LT1, and that was the stock engine that came in it. And then I kind of trickled effect, it all just happened so quickly. Rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden I was building the car full time for YouTube. And then I decided that it was time to change the engine, and so many people told me to LS swap it, so I kept it in LT, but we went the 5th gen LT, and it turned into finding out that I was one of the first people to do that and document that on social media. So now the car is completely torn apart. It's at Midwest Chassis right now, and then Skog and Dickey is going to build an engine for it.
Yes, so it's getting way bigger cage or way better cage. I don't know, however you want to say.
25.5, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go way faster now. So let's talk a little bit about that, because some of the stuff on your page, like you're crunching to get the car ready for an event and then realize that the intake doesn't fit. Tell us that story, and then tell us like what kind of the end goal of the car is.
Okay, so we were crunching to get to LS Fest East. Holly really wanted me there in their booth, and so I crunched for like a week. I think the engine was taken out and the trans, and within the week everything was put back together. But we ordered a Holly high ram, got it ported for injection or ported for nitrous and everything, and I expected it to fit just like an LS would. Turns out the head placement is not the same, and it did not fit. So I had to overnight a Holly low ram. Luckily, my powder coater decided that she wanted to be on board and get that done as fast as she possibly could at powdered up coatings. Yep. And then we ended up getting it all together. We ended up at LS Fest. It was hardly running. It was definitely not tuned. It was just barely running. It could roll off the trailer, and that's about it.
Nice.
And then after that, we kind of just thrashed to make sure everything was correct before we went to Rocky Mountain Race Week. Yep. And then Rocky Mountain Race Week, our first test driving the car was to dinner in Kansas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we hauled it from Kentucky to Kansas and then tested it. And then again, it was another test at Pueblo when it made its first pass down the track. Nice. So that's kind of how all of that went down.
And so I flew in, I came from back to the streets, which is in Detroit. I flew in for day 3 of race week at the first day at Bandamere, and you guys had the car jacked up. What were you working on? Like something underneath the back, a fuel tank, something like that?
So my exhaust, I got a TRZ anti-roll bar, and then my exhaust, it was brand new. It was a dual system from Holly, and then I kept the stock fuel tank. Well, everything seemed to be fine in fitment and everything. Once you got up under the car, everything seemed to fit, but every time you hit a bump, secretly, the exhaust was jamming itself right into my fuel tank. So we had to JB weld that several times throughout the week just to make it through. Next year, though, we're getting a actual drag and drive trailer.
Wow,
I think Storman came on board with that, so they're going to give us a trailer. And then I'm going to I think what's going to happen is we're going to put the fuel tank inside the car.
Nice.
So then we don't have to worry about that anymore. TRZ anti-roll bar works perfect. So.
Yes.
Yep.
So you had all of that stuff that was on the ground there? That was all in the car? You guys had no trailer this year?
No, we actually put everything into the car. We had no trailer, but we had those little like hitches from Harbor Freight.
Oh, even worse.
Oh yeah, I can promise you, because I lost my radial on that one. So
it's that's probably one of the hardest things, because people think, oh, I don't want to do a trailer yet, but they grab a basket and they think that's the way to go. But the way that thing cantilevers off the back,
bad.
It's so brutal. So that was your third drag and drive event to do this year, but you've done them in the past. So tell us some stories from the other events, because the car hasn't always been as fast as it was this year because we saw some stuff. You went faster and faster every time you went out. But what kind of times you run at race week, and then what kind of times has the car ran in the past?
Okay, so this past race week we were NA. We were completely NA car, and it was supposed to run 9s. We kind of expected it to, but we were up in the mountains. So of course it was going 10s, and then there was one night that we were thrashing to place higher up than what we were, and so we started taking some stuff out of the car, took the hood off, took the cold air intake off, and we ended up running in Pueblo, I think it was a 10.6. Nice. So it wasn't too bad. It was pretty good for Pueblo.
Yeah, Pueblo's like 3,800 feet, so people have to understand, like the DA there is like 6,000 plus whenever they're racing there. Yeah.
So that happened, and then the year before that, my second race week, it was nitrous. Nice. And all it was I just rebuilt the Gen 2 LT1, and it was still stock bottom end, everything. We were just throwing a 150 shot at it, and that's what we ran that year. And I don't even remember what the passes were. I blurred on that.
Hey, well, listen, once you start going faster and faster and get a plan to go faster, you're out on that. So what's the plan now? The car's apart, completely apart, engine out, all that kind of stuff. Builders, you got it at the chassis shop. What are you going to stay nitrous? You going turbo, blower? What are you doing?
So as of 2 days ago, Scott and Nikki wanted me to go Pro Charger, and I'm a big nitrous gal. So I was trying to stick to nitrous. I really love Nitrous Outlet. They are a great partner of mine. I talked to them yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, why aren't you throwing a Pro Charger on this thing?" And I was like, okay. So then I walked over to Scott and Dickie, and they were like, all right, let's figure something out because we do want to put a Pro Charger on it. So it's supposed to be a Pro Charger this year.
Wow. So not only one of the first LT cars in the country in a 4th gen, now you're putting a Pro Charger on it. So now all of that stuff is going to be new. Now, Pro Charger has a kit for LT stuff, but do they have a kit for a 4th gen LT swap?
Probably not. We're going to have to move the radiator. I know that, which is still a stock radiator, so it needs to be changed anyways. I think what we're going to do is possibly do a dual radiator, so it's on either side. Nice. It's all stuff that kind of just popped up, so we're still thinking about all the specifics, but right now, I think that's the direction we're going. That's
cool. Well, what events do you have planned this year? Where can people see you out and about in the world?
So hopefully I will be doing 6 Summer, maybe. Midwest Drags for sure. Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0 for sure. And then I want to go to quite a few of the streetcar takeover events, just however many are decently close. By decently close, I mean like 6 hours. Like I'm cool with traveling. And then the last 2 would be LS Fest Texas and LS Fest East.
Awesome. And then you were also saying you're not going to be driving, but you're going to be maybe co-piloting at the circuit?
Probably not co-piloting. I think my mom's got that one covered. But my dad is debuting his 56 Del Rey at the circuit. And I'm
that car excited. Is so pretty.
I know, I love that thing. And then Reed's dad is also going to the circuit. Nice. So both of our dads are going. Obviously, we need to go support. So I don't think we're going to be co-pilots. He might be a co-pilot, but me, I think my mom's got that one handled.
Yeah, so you guys are going to be cruising along. We've been trying to figure out if we need to do a, kind of like the Road Week deal that Matt does. Is that something that we may need to do? And I think it maybe sound like we need to. We need to get you guys, special passes and into the go-karting. This is the first time I've ever said this live, so we're going to do some go-karts on that Saturday night and all that kind of fun stuff. So, all right, guys, here's the deal. She's going to be here for a little bit longer. Come by the booth, 4746 right here at PRI. For everybody that's watching at home, please go follow Britney Automotive on all the social media. I mean, you're everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, all that kind of stuff. So congratulations on all your growth. We appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us. I don't even know what to ask next. What haven't we talked about?
We haven't talked about what's coming up this year that's new other than the 4th gen.
Oh, well, let's break some news.
So I'm probably going to be releasing it next week if you're not currently watching live, or if you didn't watch the NHRA interview. I'm going to be building a 3rd gen. So everything that came out of the 4th gen is going into another Camaro. And I'm going to wrap it bright orange with a black hockey stripe, so it still matches everything. And then it's got an 850 cert cage in it. So I think we're going to try to do an NA deal and see how fast we can go. And if we can hang with the people in World Cup finals, I will be a very happy camper.
Yes. Well, what kind of time? I mean, you'll have to run 850s to compete in that class, right?
Turns out last year the fastest car was like a 9.2.
Oh, you got that all day. Exactly. Well, awesome. Okay, guys, come by the booth, hang out, do all that kind of stuff. We're going to jump off the live here because I see some people kind of gathering up. So let's do that. Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.